That means that we have so many struggling overlaps.
That means that we have several structural overlaps.
The article reflects a number of very interesting experiments.
The aerial photographs were promptly registered for thorough evaluation.
The teacher asked the group to commence the task.
Honey can be used for food and health product.
Babies can distinguish between what is language and what is not.
Farmers need to adapt due to the changes of climate.
Psychologists say what we have experienced influences our behaviors.
Many university lectures can now be viewed on the internet.
Practical experiments are essential parts of the chemistry course.
History economic is the trick of the subject.
An effective business manager is always open to new ideas.
The department works closely with business communities.
Urbanization emphasizes on the expenses of other community.
Audition of the university will be on hold until next week.
There is an accounting assessment for finance students.
Relying on natural ability will not get you far on science.
Our facilities include 5 libraries in the university.
Purity is one feature that makes gold expensive.
He was regarded as the foremost economist at that time.
Even simple techniques need to be practiced to become better.
Your ideas are sophisticated in seminars and tutorials.
Studying history can help you better understand the present.
Our study program equips students with essential skills for university.
Renovation works have been undertaken throughout the building.
Academic libraries across the world are steadily incorporating social media.
The food crops require a large amount of water and fertilizer.
The library holds a substantial collection of materials on economic history.
The massive accumulation of data was converted into a communicable argument.
Control systems in manufacturing provide a high level of accuracy.
It is absolutely vital that you acknowledge all your sources.
The application process may take longer than it's expected.
The evaluation forms will be reviewed by university personnel.
The ways in which people communicate are constantly changing.
You are required to complete the research paper by Monday.
Those seeking formal extension should contact their faculty for information.
The course covers architecture planning and construction on the international scale.
Imported packages are likely to be used in many computers.
You will be tested via quiz and dissertation.
The university provides different facilities for students and staff.
New developments in manufacturing are constantly changing the way we live.
Studying medicine is always with a wide range of opportunities.
Classical mechanism is considered as a branch of mathematics.
Studying history can help you better understand the present.
Students should put their bags on the table behind the door.
The advanced course requires a basic knowledge of scientific theory.
Teaching assistants will receive a monthly stipend for housing.
Everyone must evacuate the premises during the fire drill.
We study science to understand and appreciate the world around us.
Mutually exclusive events can be described as either complementary or opposite.
She used to be the editor of the student newspaper.
Many graduates of journalism can get jobs in the communications field.
Food cannot be eaten in the main library.
University departments carefully monitor articles and other publications by faculty.
The commissioner will portion the funds among all the sovereignties.
The artistic ties to conservative politicians earned their own roles of critics.
The placement test of mathematics and statistics is offered every semester.
Most of these features were part of the previous system.
The students were instructed to submit their assignments before Friday.
We can't consider any increase in our prices at this stage.
Observers waited nervously and with bated breath for the concert.
Clinical placements in nursing prepare students for professional practice.
Climate change is now an acceptable phenomenon among reputable scientists.
Students have the options to live in college residences or apartments.
Supply and demand is one of the fundamental concepts in economics.
Free campus tours run daily during summer for prospective students.
The theme of the instrumental work exhibited more of a demure compositional style.
Student concession cards can be obtained by completing an application form.
This morning's lecture on economic policy has been cancelled.
Review all your sources before drawing any conclusions.
The celebrated theory is still the source of great controversy.
If finance is a cause of concern, scholarships may be available.
Before submitting your dissertation, your advisor must approve your application.
The department is organizing a flight to London in July.
The shipwreck of this year ruined some artifacts which were interested by historians.
They developed a unique approach to training their employees.
Students should leave their bags on the table by the door.
Castles were designed to intimidate both local people and enemies.
Graphs and charts allow data more easily to be understood.
Blue whale is the largest mammal ever lived.
The opening hours of the library is reducing during the summer.
A laptop computer has been found in the biology lab.
His appointment to the Minister of Culture is seen as a demotion.
Measures must be taken to prevent unemployment rate from increasing.
The coffee machine located on the third floor is not working today.
Muscle cells bring parts of the body closer together.
Career services provide tips on how to approach job interviews.
The science we used featured both explanations of the problems.
You did not need a special knowledge to enjoy this book.
Scientists were unsure when the early man left Africa.
The Northern Campus car park is located behind the library.
As a union member, we can influence the changes of the university.
Neuroscience is a compound of completely separate parts.
More graduate training is needed after university is finished.
New materials and techniques are changing the way of architecture.
This course aims to develop your knowledge of statistics.
Professors with higher educational standard train them extremely seriously.
A good abstract shows the key points of a paper.
You will need to read Chapter 1 before the management class.
The university provides excellent legislations for students and staff.
There is a new chemistry test next week.
Eating fish twice a week is recommended for a healthy diet.
Information technology has changed the way people work today.
The library will stay open until midnight this week.
Two sides have disagreed on how to solve the problem.
New media journalism is an exciting area to study.
All of your assignments should be submitted by next Tuesday.
Native speakers are exempt from the language tests in their own language.
Undergraduate students may pursue their specific interests within specific programs.
Behind the group, there is a flat cart drawn by mules.
Scientists are always asking the government for more money.
I thought it was through a small meeting room.
The nation achieved prosperity by opening its ports for trade.
The railway makes long-distance travel possible for everyone.
The first assignment is due on the 14th of September.
It was hard to anticipate how all the different characters would react.
The business policy seminar includes an internship with a local firm.
Scientists were unsure when the first men left Africa.
Traffic is the main cause of air pollution in many cities.
The sociology department is highly regarded worldwide.
A good research delivers practical benefits for real people.
While reconciliation is desirable, basic underlying issues must first be addressed.
The same issues featured both explanations of the problem.
The qualification will be assessed by using a criterion reference to approach.
The toughest part of postgraduate education is funding.
Assignments should be submitted to the department office before the deadline.
Resources and materials are on hold at the library reference desk.
You will learn how to rationally assess your arguments.
Journalism faces the crisis in the light of the digital revolution.
It takes a long time to walk to university.
University staff provide advice on renting and accommodation.
Photography can be very useful to geography research.
Request for late submissions will not be accepted under any circumstances.
Slides and handouts can be downloaded after lectures.
International exchanges form the important part of our study program.
The transformation of media has changed the way information both used and studied.
Salt is produced from the seawater or extracted from the ground.
The horizontal line on the graph indicates there was no periodical change.
The horizontal line on the graph indicates there was no change in the period.
The synopsis contains the most important information.
Radio is a popular form of entertainment throughout the world.
Your lowest quiz grade has been omitted from the calculations.
The paper challenged many previously accepted theories.
When workers ask for higher wages, companies often raise prices.
Tribes vied with each other to build up monolithic statues.
Animals raised in captivity behave differently than their wild counterparts.
You will need to purchase an academic gown for the commencement.
You can contact all your tutors by email.
The chemistry building is located near the entrance to the campus.
The city's founders created a set of rules that became law.
Most of these students have not considered this issue before.
Our professor is hosting the Business Development Conference.
We no longer respond to any reference material requests.
a celebrated theory is still the source of great controversy. A good academic paper should be clear. A good architectural structure should be usable, durable and beautiful. A good assistant is not afraid to ask questions. A group meeting will be held tomorrow in the library conference room. A number of students have volunteer jobs. A person's educational level is closely related to their economic background. A recent article shows a number of interesting experiments. A very basic feature of computing is counting and calculating. Academic problems cause a rise in employment.
Aerial photographs were promptly registered for thorough evaluation. Affordable housing is an important issue for all members of society. Agenda items should be submitted by the end of the day. All dissertations must be accompanied with a submission form. All industries consist of input, process, output and feedback. All lectures and learning materials can be found on the internet. All of the assignments must be submitted in person to the faculty office. All of your assignments should be due by tomorrow. All students are expected to attend 10 lab sessions per semester. All writers, consciously or unconsciously, represent their own culture.
The educational reforms have been inadequately implemented. Although sustainable development is not easy, it is an unavoidable responsibility. Americans have found the growth progressive in quantitative terms. An ancient text may hold secrets which were lost centuries ago. An introduction is an essential element of presentation, and in that regard, as well as in other regards, it stands as an important contribution. Animals raised in captivity behave differently than their wild counterparts. Assignments should be submitted to the department before the deadline. Attracting skilled workers to the city with expensive housing is hard. Avoid confusing the cause and effect of these changes.
Before attending the lecture, you must register online or by post. Before completing the exercise, you need to read the remaining chapters. Before submitting your dissertation, your advisor must approve your application. Behind the barn/group/garage/crops, there is a flat cart drawn by mules. Below the heating controls in the middle is a small round plastic button. Books for children often contain many bits of illustration. Career opportunities in this field are quite limited. Certain scientific principles need to be learned verbally or by a logical deduction. Click the logo above to enter the site. Climate change is now an acceptable phenomenon among reputable scientists.
Clinical placement in nursing prepares students for professional practice. Collaboration between departments is a feature of successful companies. Companies want to protect their brands from negative comments. Competition for places in the course is fierce. Conferences ought to be always scheduled 2 weeks in advance. Consumer confidence has a direct influence on sales. Control systems in manufacturing provide a high level of accuracy. Convincing evidence to support this theory is hard to obtain. Daily practice can build confidence and improve skills. Despite the protest, the chemistry department was closed down.
Despite their differences, all forms of lives share the same characteristics. Economic problems caused a big rise in unemployment. Economic streams/status of early Roman Republic will be examined. 8 groups need to submit the outlines of their projects to their tutors. Enrolling in a double major may increase your career options. Equality has not yet been achieved in this society. Everyone must evacuate the premises during the fire drill. Experts are able to forecast weather over much longer periods. Experts are thinking that the world climate is changing. Experts believe that industrial development will help the economy.
Fashion trends help to make people's life interesting. Free campus tours run daily during summer for prospective students. Freshwater creatures didn't appear in the paintings until the modern period. Geography is generally divided into 2 branches of human and physical. Good research paper delivers practical benefits to real people. Government reforms have been proposed at all levels. Graduates of journalism can get a job in the communication field. He is regarded as the most foremost economist this year. Was regarded as the most foremost economist this year. He landed his job in a prestigious law firm.
Human beings compete with other things for resources and space. I thought it was through the small meeting room. Identity theft happens to thousands of people every day. If finance is a cause of concern, scholarships may be available. If it helps to take notes to concentrate, please do. If you are not sure, phone Student Services for help. If you need additional help, visit the Student Resolve Center. Important details from the argument are missing in the summary. In this language course, we focus on fluency and accuracy. Increasing population results in an increasing demand in energy.
Inflation affects the demand, pricing and consumption of most products. Interim grades will be posted outside the student lounge. It is absolutely vital that you acknowledge all your sources. It is important for students to keep up with the deadline. It is important to allocate your time wisely when revising. It is really a comprehensive program covering both theory and practice. It may not mean that it is possible to solve the problem easily. It was hard to anticipate how all the different characters would react. Laws protect consumer rights and help to avoid market problems. Let me know if anybody struggles in the lab.
Library reference desks hold a lot of materials on academic history. Listening is the key skill to succeed in this course. Making mistakes is fine, as long as you learn from it. Many birds migrate to warmer areas for the winter. Many toxins originate from plants or animals. Materials and resources are on hold at the library's front desk. Medical researchers have focused on the different treatments and diseases. Most critics agreed with the new theory, but a few disagreed. Most of these features were part of the previous system. Most students have not considered this issue before.
Most theories were quite similar, but a few critics disagreed. Most university teaching takes place in lectures and seminars. Mutually exclusive events can be described as either complementary or opposite. Native speakers are exempt from the language tests in their own language. Neurons are principally involved in chemical processes. Newspapers are supported primarily by the sale of advertising space. No more than 4 people can be in the lab at once. Nurses specialize in clinical work and management. Observers waited nervously with bated breath for the concert. One of the election promises is to decrease the income tax.
Organization plays an important role in academic literature. Organizational failure is considered in various perspectives in academic literature. Our group is going to meet tomorrow in the library conference room. Our professor is hosting the Business Development Conference. The University Theater group will be performing in the concert hall. Overcrowding and poor sanitation affected the lives of the majority of the population. Packaging is very important to attract the attention of a buyer. Participants initially select from a range of foundation subjects. Peer pressure has a great effect on young people. Plants are the living things that can grow in land or in water.
Please check the information on the website for the opening times. Please make sure you correctly cited all the necessary materials. Please note that the substantial deadlines are only negotiable in exceptional circumstances. Please remember to bring a highlighter and your textbook to class next Thursday. Please remember to bring a highlighter to class next Wednesday. Please visit the website for information about the opening times. Politics is not usually a safe topic of conversation. Preparation is important to avoid mishaps in the lab. Presidential elections are held once every 4 years. Public perception about biotechnology is crucial for developing scientific consensus.
Radio is a popular form of entertainment throughout the world. Read safety instructions before using the equipment during the workshop. Relative humidity is the amount of moisture that the air can hold. Relevant materials are reserved in the library. Remember to sign the attendance register before leaving the lecture hall. Remember, the gifts purchased by children should have a striped character. Remember, the prestigious selection has strict eligibility criteria. Resources and materials are on hold at the library's reference desk. Review all sources before drawing any conclusions. Rising sales figures means a rise in demand.
Rivers provide habitats for fish and other aquatic species. Sales figures for last year were better than expected. Scientific beneficiary to space exploration is frequently questioned. Scientists are always asking the government for more money. Scientists here are studying a wide variety of atmospheric processes. She began by giving an outline of previous lecture. She has made a significant contribution to the field of chemistry. She received a scholarship from the State Library. She used to be the editor of the student newspaper. Some departments have their own special book collections.
Some economists argue that the entire financial system is fatally flawed. Some of these features were part of the previous system. Some people are motivated by competition, while others prefer collaboration. Some people argue that education is not that important. Some people regarded this as eyewash, whereas some people ask for the status of their complaints and actions taken. Some students find true or false questions harder than short answer questions. Statistical results should be expressed in different ways, depending on the circumstances. Student identification cards will be issued by today or tomorrow. Students who attempted to go to the conference must register now. Students are advised to use multiple methods for this project.
Students are encouraged to monitor studies by themselves. Students are encouraged to monitor their own attendance. Students are instructed to hand in their assignments by the end of this week. Students are required to use research methods for this project. Students have the options to live in college residences or apartments. Students requiring for an extension should apply sooner rather than later. Students were instructed to stand in a straight line outside of the classroom. Students were instructed to submit their assignments by Friday. Students who are successful have a good strategy for learning. Students' concession cards can be obtained by completing an application form.
Submitting your group assignment must be issued punctually by one of your group members. Successful applicants will work with a large team of researchers. Supply and demand is one of the most fundamental concepts in economics. Synopsis contains the most important information. Teaching assistants will receive a monthly stipend for housing. Textile manufacturing plays a large role in improving economies. That brief outline takes us to the beginning of the 20th century. That means that we have so many struggles in the lab. Of wildlife have been ignored by developers. The advertisement for children is open to much debate.
The aerial photographs were promptly registered for thorough evaluation. The application process may take longer than expected. The archaeologists' new discoveries stand out in previously overlooked foundations. The article first introduces various interesting experiments. The article presents a number of very interesting experiments. The article a number of various interesting experiments. The artist with conservative politicians earned their of critics. The assessment of this course will begin next week. The author's previous works are more theoretical and less experimental. The book was supported by many faculty members.
The business policy seminar includes an internship with a local firm. The cafeteria features sandwiches, salads, soup, fish and chicken. The camera can identify eyes and focus on them. The campus tour will help you to get familiar with the teaching facilities. The chemistry building is located near the entrance of the campus. The city founders created a set of rules that became laws. The coffee house has a special student discount throughout the week. The coffee house menu features coffee, sandwiches and toast. The commissioner will portion the funds among other authorities. The course helps students to improve their pronunciation skills.
The curriculum is described in the course syllabus. The decision was made with the support of several faculty members. The department has higher than normal proportion of postgraduate students. The designers will complete the plan later today. The dining hall will undergo renovations during the fall break. The early works of this research were more experimental. The early works were more philosophical rather than experimental. The Earth's atmosphere is mostly composed of nitrogen and oxygen. The economic books are at the back on the left. The economy is on its first sign of recovery.
The election of president is held once every 4 years. The essay contains most of the important information. The essay will be published once the research is finished. The evaluation forms will be reviewed by university personnel. The excursion for children is very much open to debate. The extent of advertising for children is open to much debate. The faculty staff are very approachable, helpful, and extremely friendly. The features issued the same explanation of the problem. The fellow students cannot be addressed enough. The final year will consist of 4 taught courses and 1 project.
The findings of researchers are focused on the causes of diseases and treatments. The first assignment is due on the 14th of September. The garden behind the university is open to the public in the summer. The history of the movement was recorded by several writers. The history of the university is a long and interesting one. The importance of this event was not yet fully understood. The island is located at the south end of the bay. The key difference between courses is the kind of assessment. The key findings seem to contradict our initial hypothesis. The leading companies changed their policies after the reports were released.
The library holds substantial collection of materials on the economic history. The main concepts in this thesis were not new. The massive accumulation of data was converted into a communicable argument. The most important details in this argument are missing. The most important process of farming is weeding. The most popular courses still have a few places left. The most striking thing about this budget smartphone cannot be seen on its face. The nation achieved prosperity by opening its ports for trade. The nearest automatic teller is in front of the anatomy labs. The new paper challenged the previously accepted theories.
The new product failed due to a lack of demand. The new/this paper challenged the previously accepted theories. The office opens on Mondays and Thursdays directly follow the freshman categories. The placement test of mathematics and statistics is offered every semester. The plight of wildlife has been ignored by developers. The poster of this play is hung in the large hall. The professor took a year off to work on her book. The qualification will be assessed by using criterion referenced approach. The railway makes long-distance travel possible for everyone. The relative humidity is the amount of moisture that the air can hold.
The report contains the most important information. The results of the experiment are reported in the table below. The results of the study underscored the discoveries from early detections. The same approach reached to the same explanation of the problem. The same issue featured both explanations of the problem. The schedule allows plenty of time for independent study. The school's summer programs help students to accelerate their studies. The scientists will face both the explanations and the problems. The site is designed to be interactive. The slide shows that there has been a minimal growth.
The sociology department is highly regarded worldwide. The software companies design and create new products. The students were instructed to submit their assignments before Friday. The summer course was cancelled due to insufficient enrollment. The sustainable development is not easy, but it is unavoidable. The synopsis contains the most important information. The teacher asked the group to commence the task. The technician left/dropped the new microscope in the biology lab. The theme of the instrumental work exhibits more of a demure compositional style. The thief visited homes of several people every day.
The time of the math lecture has been changed to 10:30. The timetable for the next/new term will be available next week. The toughest part of research for undergraduate/postgraduate education/students is funding. The undergraduates need some specific sources to analyze a specific program. The university has a world-renowned school of archaeology. The university library has most of the necessary books. The university officer will help you locate housing and transportation. The visiting guest used to be the lecturer of this department. The visitor used to be the lecturer of this department. The ways in which people communicate are constantly changing.
The whole point of the project was to look at the norm, not the exception. There are different/many types of governments in the world. There are some doubts about whether these events actually occurred. There is a clear need for further research in this field. There is a need for constructive dialogues between leaders. There is clearly a need for further research in this field. There is not enough evidence to support this recommendation. There was no correlation between drug use and cure rates. There was not enough evidence to support these recommendations. There will be a conference here next summer on using the web for academic research.
These have also been found to contribute to the death of many marine animals. They have both grown up in the rural area and dislike the urban life. They were struggling last year to make their service pay. This article refers to a number of interesting experiments. This class will look at the structure of an essay. This guy is qualified to lead the groups into the mountain. This means we will have so many troubles on the lam. This morning's lecture on economic policy has been cancelled. Cancelled, UK. This morning's lecture on economic policy has been cancelled. This slide shows that there has been a minimal growth. This software company designs and creates new products.
Those who seek for formal extension should contact their faculty for information. To achieve/gain full marks, an appropriate bibliography is required. Today's lecture material will be included in the next assessment. Tomorrow's lecture will discuss educational policy in the United States. Tours operate all year round, but the busier dry season runs from May. Traffic is the main cause of air pollution in many cities. Traveling by boat on the river is not possible in winter. Tribes work with each other to build up a monolithic statue. Undergraduates may participate in specific stages within the program. Undergraduates pursue their interests in special stages within the program.
Understanding that how to use the library will save your time. University departments carefully monitor articles and other publications by faculty. University fees are expected to increase next year. Upgrading manufacturing systems can increase efficiency. Water taps on the campus will discourage the frequent use of plastic bottles. We are able to work in a team. We can work together to achieve the higher educational standards. We can't consider any increase in our price at this stage. We have not yet achieved equality in our society. We study science to understand and appreciate the world around us.
We support the research on problems related to tropical cyclone dynamics and forecasting. We were able to contact a number of research subjects. When bad drove out good, the local workers were more difficult than their competitors. When parents talk to children, the tense is simplified. When workers ask for higher wages, companies often raise their prices. While reconciliation is desirable, basic underlying issues must first be addressed. Why has the project been held up for so long? Writing an essay is easy once the research is finished. Years of training is required to become a medical specialist. You are required to complete the research paper by Monday.
You are required to submit your assignment by Friday. You can contact all your tutors by email. You can find a lot more information/references on university website. You must submit your assignments by next Friday at the latest. You should include these 2 pictures from the lecture in your assignment. You should submit your team papers to the general office. You are able to contact a number of research subjects. You will acquire many skills during the academic studies. You will need to purchase an academic gown before the commencement. Your agent will collect commission for each house they sell. Your lowest quiz grade has been omitted from the calculations. Your summary should be as clear and concise as possible. Your task is to create demand for the product. Your thesis should have a fairly limited scope.